It is strange that people love sad music. If sadness feels bad, why would anyone choose to listen to something that makes them feel more of it? Why do people replay the same heartbreaking song after a breakup? Why does a slow guitar, a cracked voice, or a lonely piano sometimes feel better than a happy song? Why can a song about pain make you feel less broken? On the surface, it makes no sense. If you are sad, you should want to escape sadness. You should want something upbeat, something bright, something that pulls you out of it. But human emotion does not work that simply. Sometimes the fastest way out of a feeling is not to run from it. Sometimes the only way through it is to hear it clearly. That is what sad music does. It gives shape to something inside you that may have been too blurry to explain. Before the song, you just feel heavy. You feel strange. You feel tired. You feel like something is wrong, but you do not have clean words for it. Then the song starts. The melody moves slowly. The voice sounds like it has been somewhere painful. The chords fall in a way your body understands before your mind does. And suddenly, the feeling has a room to stand in. That is one reason sad music can feel comforting. It does not always create the sadness. Sometimes it recognizes the sadness that was already there. That recognition matters. Because one of the worst parts of pain is not only the pain itself. It is the feeling that nobody else can see it. When a song sounds exactly like what you feel, it creates a strange kind of proof. Proof that someone else has been there. Proof that the feeling is real. Proof that your private sadness is not completely private. That is why sad music can feel like company. Not happy company. Not advice. Not someone telling you to cheer up. Just company. A voice sitting beside you in the dark saying, "I know." That can be more healing than a song that tries to force you into a better mood. Because being pushed out of sadness too quickly can feel lonely. It can feel like the world wants you to become convenient again. Sad music does not demand that. It lets you stay where you are for a few minutes. And sometimes, being allowed to feel something is what finally makes it move. This is where sad music becomes different from sadness itself. Real sadness can feel chaotic. It can arrive at the wrong time. It can interrupt your work. It can ruin your sleep. It can make ordinary tasks feel impossible. But sad music gives sadness a container. It has a beginning. It has a shape. It has a chorus. It has a final note. The emotion becomes intense, but controlled. You can step into it. You can step out of it. That control makes the sadness safer. It is like visiting a storm from inside a house. You hear the thunder. You see the rain. But you are not completely exposed. The song holds the weather for you. That is one of the reasons people cry to music and feel better afterward. The crying was not random. It was organized by the song. The melody gave the body permission. The lyrics gave the mind a reason. The rhythm gave the emotion somewhere to go. Sad music can also create distance. When you are inside your own pain, it can feel endless. But when you hear a song about a similar feeling, suddenly the pain becomes something you can look at. It becomes a scene, a story, a sound. Something outside you, even if it came from inside you. That distance can be powerful. It lets you feel without being completely swallowed. You are not only sad anymore, you are listening to sadness. That is a different position. It gives you a little space. And sometimes, a little space is enough to survive the feeling. There is also the memory part. Sad songs attach themselves to moments. A breakup, a move, a hospital room, a bad winter, a friendship that changed, a person you lost, a version of yourself you cannot return to. Years later, the song can bring that whole emotional world back in seconds. That can hurt. But people still return to those songs because memory is not only pain. Memory is connection. Even painful memories can feel precious if they prove that something mattered. A sad song can keep a door open to a person, a place, or a time that life has already taken away. You may not want to live there again, but you may want to visit. That is why nostalgia often has sadness inside it. You are not only remembering what happened, you are remembering who you were when it happened. And sometimes, you miss that person too. The old version of you. The one who believed different things. The one who had not yet survived what you survived. The one who still had certain people close. Sad music can make that version of you feel reachable. Not alive again, but close enough to understand. This is why a song can hurt and comfort you at the same time. It is doing two opposite things. It is reminding you of loss, and it is protecting the meaning of what was lost. If something can still make you sad, it probably still matters. That is not always weakness. Sometimes it is evidence of love. Sad music also gives people a way to rehearse emotion. You can feel heartbreak without being in an active heartbreak. You can feel grief without losing someone that day. You can feel loneliness while knowing the song will end. In a strange way, music lets the brain practice emotional intensity. It lets you touch difficult feelings in a safer form. That can build tolerance. It can teach you that sadness rises and falls. It can teach you that a feeling can be huge without being permanent. This matters because when people are in pain, the brain often lies. It says this will last forever. It says you are the only one. It says nothing will change. Sad music quietly argues with that. Not by saying everything is fine, but by turning pain into movement. A song moves. Even a slow song moves. It goes from verse to chorus, from tension to release, from quiet to loud, from question to ending. That movement teaches your body something. The feeling is moving too. You may not be fixed when the song ends, but you have proof that the feeling can change shape. That is not small. Another reason sad music feels good is beauty. Sadness in real life can be ugly. It can be messy. It can be embarrassing. It can make you feel small. But sadness in music can become beautiful. The same feeling that made you feel weak can become a melody. The same ache that made you feel alone can become a harmony. The same grief that felt meaningless can become a lyric someone else carries. Beauty does not erase pain, but it can redeem part of it. It can make pain feel less like waste. This is why some people are drawn to sad music even when their lives are not currently falling apart. Sad music can feel honest. It can feel deeper than forced positivity. It can admit what everyday conversation often hides. Most people walk around pretending they are fine more often than they admit. Sad music breaks that performance. It says the quiet part out loud. It says loneliness exists. It says longing exists. It says regret exists. It says grief exists. It says love can fail and still have mattered. That honesty can feel relieving. Not because you want to be miserable, because you are tired of pretending life is simple. Happy music can be powerful too. Joy matters. Energy matters. Celebration matters. But sad music reaches a part of the mind that does not want decoration. It wants truth. And truth does not always smile. There is also identity. People often love sad music because it matches the version of themselves they recognize most deeply. Some people feel most real in intensity. Some people feel most real in longing. Some people feel most real in melancholy. Some people grew up with chaos, loss, or emotional distance, so sad music feels more familiar than simple happiness. That does not mean they want pain. It means pain became part of their emotional language. Music speaks in that language. A certain guitar tone, a certain drum pattern, a certain voice cracking at the edge, a certain chord that feels like the floor dropping slightly. Those sounds can feel like home, even if the home is haunted. That is complicated. But people are complicated. Sometimes the music you love is not the music that makes you look happiest. It is the music that makes you feel most understood. This is why telling someone to stop listening to sad music is not always helpful. Sometimes sad music can become a loop. Sometimes it can keep someone inside a feeling too long. Sometimes it can turn pain into an identity that becomes hard to leave. That is real. But sad music is not automatically unhealthy. The question is what the song does to you. Does it help you feel and release? Or does it keep you trapped? Does it make you feel less alone? Or does it make you believe you are doomed to be alone forever? Does it give the pain shape? Or does it keep reopening the wound for no reason? That difference matters. The same song can be medicine one day and a trap another day. Your relationship with it changes depending on what you need. Sometimes you need the sad song. Sometimes you need silence. Sometimes you need movement. Sometimes you need a song that reminds you there is still a world outside the feeling. The goal is not to avoid sadness. The goal is to not let sadness become the only room you know how to enter. But when sad music is healthy, it can do something almost sacred. It turns private pain into shared sound. It lets strangers meet inside a feeling. The artist may never know you exist. You may never meet the other people who love the song. But for a few minutes, you are all connected by the same emotional weather. That is one of the deepest things music can do. It makes loneliness communal. It turns the sentence, "Nobody understands me," into "maybe someone did." And maybe that is why your brain loves sad music. Not because it loves suffering. Not because it wants you to stay broken. But because sadness, when it is carried by music, becomes less shapeless, less silent, less lonely. The song gives the feeling a body. It gives the memory a door. It gives the pain a rhythm. It gives the lonely part of you someone to sit with. And sometimes, that is enough. Not to fix everything, but to make the feeling survivable. That is why a sad song can feel like comfort, because it does not always pull you out of the dark. Sometimes it walks into the dark with you.